Combustion.
Whoa, 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 whoa. They running the game with my team making plays. Talking 80, my G's wanting jewels in this place. Surrounded by dogs, keep the quarterback safe. I'm the one with the plans, they gon' do what I say. The game is not over, we don't celebrate in the end zone. We don't got no time in the wait. H-time run down, we don't premeditate. We just go and get to it, we got them on skates. If the game go into overtime, kicking the overdrive, we gon' be first at the finish line. Play looking full, but I finish mine. Can I get second? We gon' line up like it's dinner time. We put in work till we get us a ring. Super Bowl season, we running the scene. H-time the home of the realest that breathes. Keep your face down when you talk to the king. What up, y'all? Welcome back. We back to another episode of the A-Sound Rundown. This is your boy AD, and I got my co-host in the building. Got boy talking too fast. Got my boy Jules and Mike G in the building. How's everybody doing on this wonderful Tuesday evening?
Doing well.
Doing very well. We're swarming out here.
Yeah, we swarming. You know, right now we took a little mini vacation. You know, observance of 4th of July and at Juneteenth aftermath and all that. And
Mike's on the run.
Yes, as you see, long as the lights ain't flashing behind them, we still got them. We be all right. But we back. We talking about a little prep. Just to get your mind at ease before we get to the hard hitting topics and the great debates and the arguments and the fussing and fighting of training camp and the excitement of training camp. We're gonna have quite a few things that we're gonna talk about. As you see the rundown on the side, we're gonna talk about the Texans all-time almost greats. We're gonna talk about, we're gonna have some fake off-season awards, the hashtag piss people off awards.
Yeah.
And we got a segment that's called Bury It. Forget about it. As the Italians would say.
Forget about
it. Forget about it. What up, Val Dickey? In the building. But yeah, man, it's a great day to be a Houston Texan fan. But any news? What did I miss? What did I miss?
PFF dogging out the Texans. One, they didn't have D'Amico Ryans in the top 10 coaches going to this year. They got us ranked dead last in O-line again. They have no one has any faith in what the Texans did in all season to address the O-line. So, but that's once again that's going to be talked about in training camp and all that stuff. But that's one of the news I know that really happened in the last couple of days is just PFF. I really don't like PFF anyway, so it doesn't matter.
The Joe Mixon thing too. ESPN had a annual list.
He's top 10?
He's top 10.
Yeah, top 10 running back in the NFL, ranked by ESPN. As you see,
8 or 9.
Yeah, there was somebody who questioned that. I forgot who that was. At Don something. They put his stats out that all his stats are mid-20s, but if you look at the advanced stats of once he got past the first wave of contact, he was still very, very strong. And if the O-line would have been any half better than what it was, his stats would have been better. And he still rushed for over 1,000 yards, missed 3 or 4 games
because for 1,200, right?
1,200, 1,300, one of those.
He had a string where he ran. I think it was like maybe 6 or 7 games in a row. He had over 100 yards rushing.
Right, and that's when he missed a couple games for the legal tackle in the back that they didn't call, didn't find. But I think twice he happened them twice.
Yeah.
So then I think he didn't play the last game of the regular season. So his stats were based off of 17 games after 14 or 13 games. It's pretty impressive. Somebody who's not in the top 10 or his stats don't say he's a good player.
Hey, all I know is Joe Mixon is very, very severely underrated.
Great leader too.
Right.
Don't get started, man. You got a coalition of people that hate
that topic of leader. I mean,
Right.
you know, if you want to talk about a leader, you know, the center. Oh, he becomes the leader of the team.
Right. He the one. He the one told CJ he got to run more.
Yeah, because I can't help you, brother.
Yeah. You see, I got. You see, I got from me. I got Tunsil from me. I can't do nothing with Tunsil from me.
King Green's like,
Shaq Mason is nowhere to be found. I don't know where Shaq Mason is.
what up, chill out? What up? What up? Like I say, this is gonna be an easy breezy episode, man. Get y'all kind of in a fun mindset, ready to go, exciting. Get excited about training camp. There's a lot to be excited about. We're gonna talk about it over the next 2 weeks as we prep, you know, for training camp. We're gonna talk about position battles. We're gonna talk about, you know, who to watch out for in camp. We're gonna talk about, you know, rookies, who you're most excited to see. We're gonna do all that talk over the next 2 weeks. But tonight, you know, let's go right into it and let's talk about the Texans all time almost greats. And there's a plethora of guys. You know, we dig up the history books of Houston Texans that when they came out, he was like, hey, we may have some cooking. But you know what he say? Mitchie did an interview. He was saying pretty much this is like his official third year and should be the year where he steps up. What's y'all opinions on that? I'll answer that real quick. John Mitchie has to prove it, and the Texans drafted it as if John Mitchie was already out the door. So either John Mitchie has to show and prove, or John Mitchie is going to be playing for another team either at the end of training camp, beginning of the season, or at the trade deadline.
He's done well at times when he's been given the opportunity, and I don't want to make excuses for the guy. Obviously, cancer is a bigger thing, but it seems he's past that. I know, and as a resident Bama stan who had Mechie going to the Texans in literally all of his mock drafts, you know, he definitely, obviously, has not lived up to the hype. The opportunity is still there for to obviously make the roster, and you know he's got two rookies who are two guys who can really produce as competition. So he'll really have to bring his A game. Historically, I would say the most common breakout year for players is their third year. So he's got that going for him, but you know, as you pointed out, he's an uphill battle.
Mike is setting it up for John Mitchie to be on this all-time almost great list. What a Rolo. But yeah, man, Jules, I want you to go ahead and, you know, give you your few names of, you know, all-time almost greats.
Well, you know, this one's very dear to my heart. You know, I thought he was gonna be the all-time great Texans. He's gonna take over the defense, and he's just gonna be that disruptor for forever. And it's gonna be mentioned in the names of J.J. Watt and Steroid Boy Cushing and all those great defensive players. But Clowney, Clowney was almost great. You know, I'm always going to give him a asterisk because he did have surgery. He did have a very new surgery that didn't really experimental that kind of cost him his latter movement. But as an almost great, he had a couple good seasons, not great seasons, but he just couldn't put all together to be a great player, and he couldn't be the number one pick. He couldn't be a great Texan. So he's one of my almost greats that could have been great, but the work ethic, the injury, and the jealousy of Mr. JJ Watt all throws in that situation too.
Okay.
That's my first one.
That's your first one. What you got, Mike?
CJ Fedorowicz.
There we go. Can we just put the tight end? The tight end position.
We can go a whole list of tight end positions.
Go ahead, Mike.
I mean, obviously the injuries. I mean, the historical success of Iowa tight ends. You stack it up with any position from any school, it's at the top. And this is a guy that just couldn't stay healthy. I forget
Concussions.
the plethora of injuries he had, but it was a lot. It's just one of those almost.
Right.
Yeah, concussions. Yeah.
Concussions.
Mm-hmm.
I think he set the president for a concussion protocol.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't. I don't even want to go down that road. But again, I'm gonna say this about CJ Fedora: he was turning the corner on being the next great Iowa tight end before the concussions took him out of the NFL.
Before he hit a wall
Yeah,
and got a concussion.
look,
Did
I'll stand
he
on
go
the
around the corner
hill.
and start to hit the wall?
Look, I'll stand on the hill and trip and roll down that motherfucker. For CJ Fedora.
Right.
Also, mine. This one here is it just rolls all into the injury. The
Oh.
John Mechie ties into it. All of it is the great safety Andre Howe.
Ooh.
Was a
I thought about
That's a
him
good
too.
one. That's a good one.
almost all
All good one.
time great. Shout out Texan Tangents. He's one of the ones that just got away because he was a low round draft pick, I think a 6th-round draft pick from Vanderbilt, and he performed very well as a starting safety. I think he came in right after we lost Glover Quinn. And
Quinn was my guy.
hey, I was so mad we chose Ed Reed over Quinn. I was pissed off about that. But Andre Howe came in and he kind of got us through that Ed Reed kind of turmoil situation.
Yeah.
So Andre Howe, of course, had to retire due to cancer.
Yeah.
Came back and actually performed well for the 1 year he came back, and then had to retire again. But yeah, that's on my list. We're gonna go about 3 rounds, okay?
I got you.
We're gonna go 3 rounds, and so Jules, I'll give you your next one.
Oh man, this one that he had speed, he had midget hands, he had a hamstring issues. Will Fuller.
Oh, steroid boy.
Will Fuller. He worked on his hands. He had his hands where he had catchable balls and he wouldn't drop them all the time. His route tree was getting better, but as soon as everything started going around, like he was like getting better, be at that number one kind of receiver. Here come the hamstrings every year. He just couldn't get past the injuries, and he had some great balls and pause. He had some great catches. Cause I know what gonna do. He had some great catches. He was caught wide open sometimes, and he just that you knew if he went too fast and too long, the hamstring gonna pop, and it always happened the wrong time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Will Fuller.
I was looking for it. I couldn't find it, but
Yeah.
there we go.
Oh,
But go ahead, Mike. You got another one?
Yeah, I got a guy who was really damn good in Houston and just coming into his own, establishing himself as one of the best players at his position, but we didn't re-sign him. And then he went on to have his best play elsewhere, and that's Brandon Brooks.
yes. Yes. I like that one. That was a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's one that got away.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Because Bill O'Brien wanted a mean, tough grinder of all linemen from Kansas City, and they never worked out.
But that's what Brandon Brooks was, which was stupid.
Hey, we never said Bill O'Brien.
He got into it with Bill O'Brien when Bill O'Brien first got there, and that was all she wrote.
Because of his mental history. He felt that was tough enough.
So I pause on this. Because this whole Daniel Jones topic, we ain't even gonna go down that route, Brandon. That ain't even nothing to talk about. Local media ain't got nothing to talk about. They could be doing the Texans almost all-time greats like we doing, but they up here talking about Daniel Jones. No. So is it my turn?
It's your turn.
It's
Mm-hmm.
my turn. We had the best idea with Gary Kubiak that was supposed to set the league on fire, and not all the Gary Kubiak disciples
Mm-hmm.
and Shanahan disciples, they all have adopted this methodology of how to implement the running game.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary Kubiak had a great idea when you already had a guy you knew who could play in Arian Foster. And you say, you know what? I saw what he did at the end of the year, coming in as an undrafted free agent, but I'm gonna double down and go get a hell of a running back from Auburn
Okay.
named Ben Tate.
Right.
And we're gonna have a two-back thunder and lightning, you know, just monster running game. Nobody can stop. Only thing that did stop was Ben Tate and his injuries.
Correct.
Couldn't stay healthy. Of course, if y'all haven't noticed the theme, that's gonna be like kind of the you know theme of all the players of almost,
Mm-hmm.
almost why they almost couldn't make it. But yeah, Ben Tate, hell of a player, had all the size, speed, breakaway speed, power. Typical Auburn running back. I think he came around right. Was it right after Cadillac Williams and
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
what's the other guy? It was Cadillac
Uh,
Williams and
was
Ronnie
it
Brown.
Ronnie Brown with
Ronnie
Miami and
Brown,
Tampa Bay?
yeah, Ronnie Brown went to Miami. Cadillac went to Tampa Bay, like you said, Jules. And then you had Ben Tate follow right
Mm-hmm.
behind him. And he was just as productive as those guys at Auburn. And we got him. And Fofo, look, tipping on Fofos. That was that tipping on Fofos was Ben Tate's
Right.
moniker and couldn't live up to the hype because he was sitting sideways.
Right.
So, like Beyonce. Um Nobody want to talk about Beyonce. How she probably never will come back to Houston, y'all.
But she
Damn, what
still
did I
lives in
miss?
Houston.
Do she?
Yeah, she still lives in
Does she
Houston.
love? Does she love Houston?
I said live. I didn't say love. But she still lives in Houston.
No, she don't.
She got a condo in Houston. Hey
I
man, I'm
mean,
just
you
saying.
got 80 houses. Like,
Right. Know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Just saying.
I got a house in Bryan, Texas. I live in Bryan, Texas.
Do you
Okay.
get do you get mail there, sir?
Nope.
Okay, then you
You
don't live
know,
in Bryan.
Beyonce ain't got no mail in that condo. What mail in that? What mail she getting? Who
her
sends
light
Beyonce? Hold on.
her light
How
bill.
does Beyonce get mail? Who
Cause she
who
took it up.
who mails Beyonce anything?
I don't know. Crazy fans. People want to see her fall off a car.
somebody
Stands.
somebody crawled up at the top of NRG and cut their string. I'm just telling y'all.
Wow. Well, you were there. You should know.
Nah, I went at that one.
Oh, okay.
I went at that one. But yeah, Jules, he go round three.
All right. I got two that on the same level that I can't really pick between of them. DJ Swanger
Mm,
okay,
and Kevin Johnson.
damn, okay,
Though
mm,
they were neck and neck. One was out, and I didn't really like the Kevin Johnson's pick. I thought he was too slim
yeah,
for a corner, and then he likes to hit, and his cover skills weren't all that great, but it was good enough. So I thought it was a risky pick to pick them so high in the first round. But I guess they had a run on corners, if I'm not mistaken. And
mm-hmm,
then DJ just immature,
mm-hmm.
big hitter. Um, can play special teams. They can
Hey,
play safety. He was Jalen Petrie before Jalen
I was
Petrie
about to
was.
say it. He was Jalen Petrie before Jalen Petrie.
Right. Only thing difference between Jalen Petrie is and DJ Swinger is the coach like him, and he's a hard worker. He don't be out in the streets like DJ
Mm.
did.
mm-hmm. And
So yeah.
having the
So
dog and the clowny incident.
yeah. So that's so they the
Didn't he?
clown was
Didn't they?
already.
Some with a Batmobile or something like that.
I don't know
It was
about that.
something, it was something happened with a Batmobile or something like that. I
I know
forgot.
I know I know. Joe Burrow got his house some burglarized. Now he can't buy a Batmobile.
Mm. And what was he gonna say? He's gonna call the Dark Knight.
Right. Them blonde tips he got. Go ahead, Mike. What you got?
Ooh, I'm going back and forth on several players here.
Yeah.
Ooh,
There's a bunch of players that we can really go. if we really wanted to, because
Yeah,
this
we can go
franchise,
with a whole episode just talking about these players.
for
I
this
mean, really,
franchise after 20 years to not to be going to the not to win the second round, there's a lot of almost great.
That's what it was. I knew it was. Thank you, LD. He didn't pay. He got his truck tricked out. Yeah, he got it tricked out like a Batmobile and didn't pay.
Oh wow.
yeah. AD brought up it wasn't his pick, but he did name drop Glover Quinn, which I thought about before. Kevin Johnson, which I thought about, and Jules
Yeah.
brought him up. But we got a couple running backs, and I thought about Lamar Miller, but I think he kind of he did what he was supposed
He
to,
did
and
what
he
he's supposed to.
continued to be a home run threat.
Mhm.
And it was almost a trade that wasn't a trade with Miami because Arian Foster went there,
Mhm.
and then boom, we got Lamar Miller. But I'm gonna go with I thought about Duke Johnson too,
Yeah.
guy who almost
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my cousin.
yeah, I mean crazy numbers in Miami. But I'm gonna go with Deontay Foreman.
Okay. Yeah.
He was
Good pick.
really coming into his own. And then that injury, I believe it was against Arizona at the end of the season on a touchdown run. And he continued to do well as a journeyman for like 3 or 4 different teams. But
Chicago, he did well in Chicago.
he did. But he was never quite the same pre-injury. So I would say Deontay Foreman.
Okay.
Good choice.
AJ Boye kind of came to mind too. It's like almost like, damn, you really coming on here. But go ahead, AD.
And DJ in the building. So Rolo stole my thunder in the comments, man. Rolo brought up Steve Slayton. That was one. But I got the first Swiss Army knife that was supposed to change the whole game with Gary. Again, Gary Kubiak had a lot of these. Y'all know who the Swiss Army knife was? From hometown, Rice University.
Oh, don't do him. Don't
James Casey.
Oh my God.
James.
Oh my
Casey
God.
was one, man. James Casey was one.
Wow.
Was supposed to be the one.
I don't know why y'all thought he was gonna be the one, but okay.
Hey, James Casey had all the talent. He could play tight end. He could play fullback. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball, play quarterback, he can catch. He did everything.
Everything but be good.
Look, I'm telling you right now, if James Casey was in the NFL right now, he'd be one of the best tight ends in the league.
Man, please. He was undersized.
Then what not undersized?
He was undersized. That's why he could play fullback.
That's what you think a tight end is. James Casey was 6'3", 240. That's Dalton Schultz.
Okay.
Dalton Schultz probably a little bit taller, but that's Dalton Schultz.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine you say Ryan Moats over James Casey.
I got another one.
Honestly, when you said Swiss Army knife, I thought of another name who's far more recent, but nobody remembers. Braxton Miller.
Yes.
Look, here's another one.
Using right and
C Shorts.
Brooke
Reed.
Brooke Reed.
Yeah. The Clay Matthews clone.
Yeah. I got one else on the team right now.
Who?
Christian Harris. Christian Harris. Almost great.
Look at DJ from the top row. Alfred
Blue. Right? There's a bunch of them.
Hold on. Then we got it was right there. And I lost it. Damn it.
Don't forget the Tom Savage.
Tom Savage.
Hold
on. Defensive tackle from TCU. Second round pick.
My boy.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. Somebody help me out.
My boy. Fifth round pick.
Johnston.
No, he had cancer, don't he?
No.
Oh, who?
He's still in the league today.
Ross Blacklock?
Ross Blacklock.
He was never great.
No.
That's like said Okoye.
Yeah. Hey.
They were never great.
Am I wrong for thinking of a man who really put it on that last year that he was with Houston and has put it on since, but those first few years he just could not stay healthy, and that's Jonathan Grenard.
I thought about
Mm,
him, but I didn't. I never liked John Gennard, so I couldn't. I couldn't get in favor say anything.
I mean, you can say Whitney Merciless,
I never liked with Mercy either.
but yeah, Diggy, hey, that's the one we was just talking about, and that's
Right.
James Casey. James Casey.
Mhm.
But yeah, Whitney Merciless could be almost had all the talent. Just
I'm gonna say one, and I'm gonna let it slide. I don't want to get. I don't want everybody to get mad at me. You of H's own Tank Dale.
mm.
You
What
know,
are you talking
If
about?
he
You of
his
H?
name did cross my mind,
if
but
he
I don't
can't
want
come
to put
back,
that. He's coming back, and I want to be optimistic here. And he did
2027.
come back from a shooting too. So like,
All right.
Mm.
He ain't that big.
Hold on. You talking about all time greats? And you mentioned U of H. It's doggone Case Keenum.
mm,
Yeah.
he had his
He
moment with Minnesota.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
um, shit, you can be talking about any one of us. Shit,
Pretty
I
much.
don't Ruben, I don't know who you talking about. You talking about any one of us. But yeah, I mean, we can go down the list here. Tony Banks was could be considered.
Don't.
Um,
Oh, we had. Don't forget. We had a huge conversation about the quarterback before that got by Davis Mills replaced. That you thought was going to drive, going to take it to the promised land. Who was that quarterback that got punched in the lungs? Had
Tyrod
back
Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor. We were what was our record?
We were supposed to be 2-0. We were 1-0 with
2-0 with
Tyrod.
Tyrod
We were
Taylor.
1-0. We were damn near beat Cleveland in Cleveland, and
Right.
we were gonna be 2-0. And here go DJ Brock. I was talking about Brock Osweiler. No,
Now we're gonna bring him up in a later a later date in this conversation.
that's somebody else. And I got a couple with that.
Yeah.
One that hurt my heart as a Texan fan. But he said we was on the run. Man, we thought we was gonna shock the world.
Man.
Oh Lord.
Hey, man, I'm telling you right now, we were gonna be the Texan fan base was gonna be insufferable if we went 2-0 to start the year, playing well with Tyrod Taylor. Because at that point, Mark Ingram was running the ball pretty well. We beat the Colts week 1. Just didn't know the Colts were gonna be just as bad.
Mm-hmm.
But we beat the Colts week 1, and we had Cleveland on the ropes. Tyrod Taylor was coming back. What happened?
Mm.
No, I thought of a name, and then I remembered something else about him that he's no longer with us.
What are you talking about, Jacoby?
Joe Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jacoby.
And
He was
since
on. He definitely falls that category almost great because he was good, but he wasn't great as a Texan.
and
Mhm.
this is we should be ashamed of ourselves. But I'm
David
talking
Carr.
about no, about not talking about the number 1 Texan, all
Oh,
time, almost great,
oh, Mario.
David Culley.
who just got married on July. I think it was July 2nd. He got married to his famous girlfriend from Houston,
Oh,
and God bless him.
Oh Lord.
But we all know him as
Deshaun Watson.
Mr. Booty Man,
Deshaun Watson.
John Watson, as the all-time
Almost great.
almost great Texan.
Right.
Nobody will ever forget Deshaun Watson. He holds the crown on this,
I get to you. Yeah.
and he was, set the league on fire.
mm-hmm.
Almost all-time great. He was that rookie season, them 6 games. Some of the best, most exciting football we've ever seen as a Texan fan base. So, shout out to Deshaun Watson getting the crown of the all-time almost greatest Texan.
Mm-hmm.
And now we move on to our
Appreciate you, Cleveland.
Thank you.
Yeah.
To our fake off-season awards.
right.
Well, I'll let Jules, lead
I'll
us
ask the question. Y'all give me y'all players
Yeah.
or events. So He cooked in shorts award. Who was that one player that everybody talked about in training camp or mini or voluntary camps that everybody, oh my God, he looked great in the shorts. He cooked in shorts award.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, we can circle back on John Mechie. We can circle back on John Mechie.
And Higgins, Jaden Higgins,
Mm.
that one little catch,
I'm gonna say
that one.
Titus Howard.
We talking
Man,
about
hold up.
this off season. We talking about this off season. Okay,
Yeah.
this off season.
Yeah, this
I say Higgins. That one catch that he called over
Oh,
Locksmith.
last
Yeah,
yeah,
last
last.
Thursday. That everybody lost their mind behind.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a good one. Cade.
Okay.
Cade
yeah.
Stover.
Yeah, a good one.
Um,
Still overcooking.
I mean, if you wanna, we gonna talk about that in the next 2 weeks, DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And we might have some live coverage there.
Right.
So you never know.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to talk about this off season
This off
T-shirt
season.
award?
Yeah.
Christian Kirk.
Mm.
Okay.
Christian Kirk has
I
won
get
it.
that.
Um, Woody
What a
Mark,
shot.
Mm-hmm.
Woody Marks, fan of the pod, friend
Right.
of the
That's
pod.
right.
Woody Marks is another guy. Hell, you can really say all the rookies because
Hey,
Ariante Ursary is another one. That people
All the
was
unsigned.
up there
Jalen's.
drooling. They was up
Still
there drooling, sweating.
still unsigned.
Oh yeah, will he be at training camp
Mm-hmm.
on the
Mm.
next episode of the H Town Run?
Thanks, Nick Casario.
All right.
Yeah, I would say all the Jalen's.
There's all of Jalen's. Jalen
Oh,
Reed.
mm-hmm.
All right. Second award is the Instagram Pro Bowler Award. Who was on everybody's Instagram this whole off season? All his highlights, all his clips. He was just everything was this player was just the biggest thing on the Texans roster. He was everywhere.
I mean,
There's one particular.
is there? I mean, because I can come up with several that
You
How
talking
be
about
in
many?
that
CJ?
conversation.
Huh?
Talking about CJ?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. One particular guy. That
Nico,
mm-mm.
Will Anderson,
Mm-mm.
Sting.
Just he Stingley.
Mm,
If you check Instagram, you check all the highlights since he made Pro Bowl and All Pro, and he got this big money. Everyone has his highlights everywhere.
yeah. Look, Joe Mixon. I don't know which one you talking about, but Joe Mixon didn't perform nothing, so he can't. He disqualified from the off season because he ain't had none. Um, he disqualified from the off season awards. But yeah, Stingley he did the pivot
Mhm.
that went crazy on Instagram for about a month.
Right.
They aggregated great because they break clips down. They
Hmm.
put
Mm-hmm.
one clip out 1 week, another clip out the next week, and all that. But yeah, Derek Stingley for sure. I thought you was about to say Lemon Tunsil.
No, 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 no. No. We don't promote Larry Tunsil anything on the Texans rundown or anytime rundown ever again.
um,
I'm not sure we ever did.
Oh, I mean, we had a couple people holdouts that was saying, "Hey, just give him no more time. He a pro. He this. He had a couple people trying to hold on to him, but I know for this podcast for years was trying to trade Tunsil every chance we got, every offseason.
appreciate you,
That's
Camilla.
okay.
Sure.
So the third award is who is the press conference MVP award this offseason?
Oh, I got a good one. It's the offensive coordinator,
Nick Haley.
Nick Haley.
Okay.
Nick Haley won the all season, man. He had he was cooking at the mic.
Who you got, Mike?
I mean, D'Amico's not a bad choice.
Mhm.
Nick Casero with his standard word salads of giving you nothing. Yeah. So So I mean, I guess I would pick Miko.
Hey, this is a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
There you go.
Uh,
I
my
mean, he look the whole offensive line. You can do him, Kenyon Green. You can go with Shaq Mason.
Yes.
Like you can. It's a
Boyd for
group
the special
effort,
teams.
huh?
Boyd for the
Oh,
special
oh yeah,
teams.
Chris Boyd.
mm-hmm.
Hold on, Will Anderson, hands down, fast talker, fast
Mhm.
talker. Everybody's hard working. He loves everyone.
Well,
Um,
my choice is Nick Casario. He spoke one time for 27 minutes and said to trust the process 14 times in one press conference.
Wow.
I mean, I'm surprised Cal McNair got on there. He won the honorable mention. Hannah McNair won the honorable mention.
Mm.
What's the VP? The new VP.
Oh,
Um,
Oh, Toman.
Tolman, yeah. I
Tolman
keep,
should.
yeah.
Yeah, he should have been on there. I mean, hey, the list. I mean, it wasn't that many interviews either, so we
Mhm.
gotta temper it. But it's mostly Nick Haley by far wins the award.
Well, I got two more. You ready?
Hmm.
The stock down so fast it's burning up award. What stock? Whose player stock is so down and it's just ridiculous because it's training. It's not even training cap yet. It's not even preseason yet, but his stock is down.
Titus Howard.
Why Tyler Howard?
Oh man, they once that draft pick in the second round was called for Ariante Ursary, we already had traded Laramie Tunsil. Now it was, we got to get Titus off our team. Hell, there's people on the podcast right now. There's part of the podcast was talking about Titus Howard gotta go. Titus Howard gotta go. I'm like, hold on, man, hold on. Here's another one. Dalton Schultz.
I agree with you there.
Dalton Schultz is another guy.
Hey. Here's the now. Go ahead and clip this. Here's an opportunity. Dalton Schultz, for you to be this year's Henry Toto.
Mm,
Prove me wrong, Dalton.
mm, mm.
Well, I
Prove me
mentioned
wrong.
I mentioned his name earlier, Christian Harris.
Mm-hmm.
His name is like they don't know. It's just he just
He
in
just
the
a guy.
just a guy right now.
Just a guy.
Damian
And
Pierce.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
oh, good
yeah,
one.
yeah.
He was high for y'all. He's always been that player for me.
Do y'all think Dalton Schultz could be traded by the deadline? Of course. Will he? The world. What's that old Tootsie Roll Pop commercial
The
with the
the
owl?
the
A
world
100,
will
a two, a three. The world will never know.
never know.
I think his contract makes him very difficult. Shout out. Very difficult to trade him this year, but next year you can move on very easily.
Just
Uh,
release him. Say bye.
I do like
He's
the
gonna
depth we
trade him
have at the
first,
position, though.
right?
Yeah, I mean you got Luke Lachey. You got Brevin Jordan coming off of ACL. You got Kay Stover. We just talked about T-shirt and short champion. So I mean you got a pretty modest amount of depth, and I know that everybody want to say Kaylee tight end coach. Do we roll with it? I don't know. Another guy we forgot on that award list of T-shirt and shorts. Rolo brought it up. Jake Andrews.
Yes,
Mm.
Jake
good
Andrews
call.
was another one. Yeah, I mean, I like Jake Andrews to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
I
Um,
mean, he's in the starting five. Every time they can suit up as a five,
yeah,
he right there.
but I keep telling people, y'all need to go back and watch that New England Patriots tape of Jake Andrews. He was damn good. He was damn good of another bad offensive line. I know that's not saying much, but he actually played pretty well. So it is not surprising me that he's stepping over freaking what's his name, Patterson and
Mm.
Scruggs,
Yeah.
who neither one of them played well last year. As much as people want to hype up Jared Patterson, he did not play well last year.
Mhm.
No, I was
So
very critical of them last year. I was very critical of them pre-draft and when we drafted them because I'm like, I've scouted them. I hate these picks. Please prove me wrong.
Look,
And
we've had mock draft Juice Scruggs in like the 6th round on one of those mock drafts,
yeah.
and you was pitching a bitch about it.
Oh yeah, I remember we were live on a space during the draft, and I
Mhm.
nearly threw my phone when we picked him.
Cause what's his name got picked like right before him.
JMS. Yeah, that's
Yes.
another almost Texans great right there.
Right.
JMS.
Look, he almost Giants great because I ain't heard not one word from him in New
He's
York.
struggling.
Yeah.
But everybody on the Giant line is struggling, so it don't matter.
Yeah.
All right, we got two more.
Scruggs had more ugly penalties. I mean, shit, man, that's the whole line.
Yeah.
All
All
of them
right.
ugly.
Who is making the Hall of Fame in the t-shirts and pads conversation from this offseason? To me, it's Jalen Higgins. I mean,
We just had
everybody's.
it. We just did that.
I know, but it's Hall of Fame. They're saying he's gonna be number one by the end of the season. He's gonna replace Nico Collins.
Whoa.
He's his hype on him being the best receiver in the draft. He's the best outside receiver in the draft. He's making the Hall of Fame according to Texan fans.
Man, look.
Yeah, Adam Rank is
He had the
has been
Commanders going
bad for a
7.
long time.
He had the
So
Commanders going 7-10.
Mm, I saw that.
Scruggs can't communicate. Patterson can't run block. I
There
mean, hey,
you go.
Would Jaden Higgins be better than Drake London?
See,
that's a fair
that,
comp.
there we go.
They
They
already saying he. Oh man, yeah, this.
I love his attitude though. So
we love him. I mean, just
yeah.
like I said, we had one of our co-hosts say he was going to be the number two guy, and ain't done nothing yet. He just based on what he's doing, he's gonna be number two. Christian Kirk's still there.
Mm-hmm.
You got a veteran still there.
And Christian Kirk is won one of them off-season awards of
Mm-hmm.
t-shirt and shorts because he was showing out at mini camp. So
I'm about to blow your mind with a question right here. What if we got 3 number 2s?
And that's great for us.
Yeah,
That's great for us. It worked for New England. New England didn't have not number one. They had a lot of good twos and threes.
yeah. Adam Rank has proved some people fail upwards at a job. Man, there's some people in Houston, but I ain't gonna name names. But
Cat
uh,
Williams
I want to take this last award.
Okay.
This is literally the piss people off award.
That's your favorite saying.
This is the most annoying and over-talked topics in Texans social media. I'm gonna just say social media, and that goes across TikTok, Twitter, Twitter/X, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, you name it, whatever, YouTube, everybody's podcast,
ESPN,
ESPN, NFL Network,
Bliss Report.
Sports Radio 610. I mean the list goes on. These topics, not just this topic, but everybody already knows the number one, and this the most annoying topic to me, and it's dear to my heart. And everybody say it with me. It's the offensive line. If
Line.
we talked about the offensive line from that night of the Kansas City game every day until today.
And we still talk, and they
We
still talking about it.
talking about it today, about the offensive line. Somewhere, some podcast, some space, somebody ran on TikTok
Some
is gonna
barbershop.
bring up in the barbershop somewhere is talking about the freaking Texans and the offensive line. Jules, you talked about it at the beginning of the show about the ranking of the Texans from PFF is dead last. We
Dead
talk about
last.
the offensive line again.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we talked about the offensive line from the Bears game to the day. I mean, you ain't lying.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every day we talked about the offensive line, and
Yeah.
it gives. I mean, like how many ways can you cook it? You can't cook it no minute. You don't cook. You done
Mhm.
flamed it. You done boiled it. You done filleted it. You done did it every kind of which way. You done scalded. You done did every kind of way. You done cooked this topic. We done talked about it. How many days has it been? Shit. How many days has it been? When was if you want to go from the Bears game, you almost had a whole year we've
Almost
been
yeah.
talking about it. We
46
almost had
weeks.
I know it's been over 200 days. I know
46
for
Mhm.
weeks.
sure
300.
46 weeks.
that we've been talking about this offensive line. Ain't no other way we can talk about it.
Mm-mm.
Y'all just talking about it just because y'all ain't got nothing else to talk about.
Right. There you
Losing
go.
second, now here we go. Is the reason we have a bad O line.
Oh, I
Every
guess the
time I hear this, I think they're not paying full attention. Look, because we ignored it in training camp because we was blinded by it. No, no, no,
no,
no.
no, 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 no,
Let me say
no.
this, and I'm gonna get back on my soapbox about this. The Houston
Mm.
Texans and Nick Casario gave full effort in building this offensive line up. They
Correct.
spent 2 first-round picks on trading for Laramie Tunsil. They spent a
Mhm.
first-round pick on Titus Howard. They spent another first-round pick on Kenyon Green. They
Mhm.
spent a second-round pick on Juice Scruggs. They traded 6th-round pick for Shaq Mason,
Veteranship.
veteran, Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, former Pro Bowler. Um, then you sit up here and you sit up here and you draft Jared Patterson in the 6th round,
Mhm.
and I mean the list goes on, and on of linemen that you drafted and traded for and spent valuable assets to get this line to be top of the line.
Yeah, I mean
That,
we the
that
we had the highest paid O line in the league.
Highest paid offensive line in the league. You paid freaking Shaq Mason before he even touched the field as a Texan. He didn't even put on a shimmy shirt, a Houston Texans shimmy shirt before he got paid. You paid Laramie Tunsil three
twice.
times.
Oh,
No, three.
three.
Three. You paid him 3 times
Mm-hmm.
before you finally figured out Laramie Tunsil wasn't the answer.
Man, me and Barry go back and forth. He can't stay when I said they paid Tyus Howard because he was versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they did him wrong. They he never had a position. So they say, you know what, since you're a good soldier, we're gonna pay you what
Mm-hmm.
you think we should, or because you can move anywhere. They overpaid to Howard.
Yeah.
But
And I'm
Barry
a,
said he was a great right tackle. We don't
I
never
ain't
know
look.
because he never
He
played
never
there
got
long
to
enough.
play it. He only played it a handful of snaps. And I'm gonna say this: he Rolo talking about the training camp. I'm gonna tell you this: you had to see it through
Mm-hmm.
because you never got the opportunity to see it in full effect. The first year that it was supposed to be starting out with Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard of the rebuild. Let's just start with the rebuild years. Laramie Tunsil sat out the whole year with a hand finger injury.
Mm-hmm.
Then you backdoor, and the next year, everybody get hurt.
Right.
Titus Howard get hurt. It was the broken hand season.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody broke their hand.
Right.
Everybody broke their hand. Juice Scruggs broke his hand. Titus Howard broke his hand. It was like 3, 4 linemen broke their hand, and you never got an opportunity to see it. And then Kenyon Green was out
Right.
for the whole year. He played in the preseason game. His rookie year, he played, and then he played in the preseason game. Everybody thought he was turning around. Had that one good series against the Saints in the preseason game, and next thing you know, he was never seen from again the rest of the year.
So
And that was the whole. That was in what they call it, the antithesis. Is that how you say it? Antithesis or in I don't know.
I'm not even gonna try to say it
Yeah.
with that word out.
Yeah.
But in a
But
nutshell, as for
yeah,
layman terms,
Mhm.
you had to see it through. This was the first time that everybody was healthy. Titus Howard was healthy. Laramie Tunsil was healthy. Kenyon Green was healthy. Juice Scruggs was healthy. Everybody was healthy. And you had to see it through because we spent all these resources on this offensive line.
the
And here
first
we go
time.
again. We done got baited in to talking about this damn offensive line for another day.
Well, we're gonna bury it. We're gonna bury it. But I want to say this. This is the first time last year was the first time that all five starters played more than 4 or 5 games together.
Mm-hmm.
So you like AD said, you did not know how bad they were together or how bad the coaching was, and that's another topic about Solik, how bad the coaching was, how bad the effort was, and how bad the O line was as a offensive group with the combination of bad players, not bad talent, bad players, and bad coaching, and that's how we had what we had. But like Eddie said, you had to go through it. You had to see it on the field for multiple games to make a drastic change. Because if not, you had the same situation. But Howard wasn't healthy this year. Thompson wasn't healthy this year. Juice wasn't healthy this year. Kenyon Green kept getting hurt. You just did not know what you invested in to say if they were good now. Now, as fans, we can see it, we can think we see what we're seeing, but these guys are in practices and games and all that stuff, and ex players and personal guys gonna say, we are we really ready to throw the baby with the bathwater because he never had a fair shot because he was hurt or because Tunsil was hurt or this was hurt. So it
Mm-hmm.
was just we had to go through it.
Yep. So, Mike, you got any other comments? Cause I got one more thing, and then we can go on to the buried.
I mean, yeah, the O line. Since we haven't talked about it all this offseason. Uh, I mean, I remember one time you rolled your eyes when I just lightly brought him up, and I felt like it's like a Beetlejuice moment where it's like, don't say it again. um, yeah, I mean, one of these days I'm going to talk about it when someone brings up Stephon Diggs again,
Mm.
and the conundrum how nobody's really talked about it. Um,
Cardi
if we
B.
no,
Oh, I'm
no.
sorry.
If we, I mean, we did make a mistake getting Stephon Diggs, but there was really no way to truly know that at the time.
Mhm.
Um, but and nobody regrets getting Lassiter. He's a dog, and it's
Yeah.
awesome we got Lassiter. But who was taken with that 23rd pick?
Oh wow. I guess he didn't
Yeah,
want to answer. I guess so. Who was second, Mike?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh, yes, yes.
And so,
That
like, I'm super optimistic with
mhm,
Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins.
right.
And we, Tank Dale comes back next year. He'll be, the 5, and there'll be no pressure on him. But what if we had Brian Thomas Jr.? Like,
Mike, Mike,
that's
you
always
want
gonna be there.
you if you want to go there, Mike, we can go there, Mike. Because what happens if you don't trade for Will Anderson? How
And,
many
and I can
draft
hear
picks?
Chris yelling. I can
How
hear
many?
Chris yelling. Break all our picks.
Yeah.
What? Then you spend money on Nick Chubb and you spend money on um Joe Mixon because you didn't have running back. You could have a running back. You Schultz, the kind of quarter tight end you want. Schultz was there because he was there. That the tight end Detroit was there, and then this next year, the pick they could have got for Jared Verse, who was defensive player of the year. So we know there's a couple players
I was
that
nervous. Hold on, I was nervous for a second.
yeah you start smiling like a Chesty Cheetah over there. I didn't know what you had a good text in that. You
Yeah.
No,
saw
man.
that green over there.
No,
Yeah, I thought
I
that was
got
just my
nervous, man. I
computer.
got nervous. I thought the stream had crashed on me.
Oh, we were still talking.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see. I saw it. I was like, oh crap. So,
Right.
but
So
yeah.
we're gonna there we go. So that leads to our last topic, and we're gonna let everybody go. We're gonna bury.
Did y'all talk
Uh,
about C.J. Stroud sophomore slump?
no, that's a whole conversation. We can have a whole show.
That's one of them topics.
I can have a
And,
whole
and,
show where I
and
can go.
Mike, I
I'll
missed
go.
what you were saying. What was your did I roll my eyes at?
Well, Brandon alluded to it there, where there was no way to know at the time that Diggs was going to be a mistake, but and none of us regret Lassiter. We're all happy we got him. But who was taken with that 23rd pick?
Brian Thomas Jr.
BTJ.
And arguably that could have been the greatest wide receiver duo in NFL history. Like,
Speed,
it'd be up
strength,
there.
route
Knowing the
running.
Texans, they wouldn't have taken him anyway. Though.
Right. But see I went to the point of what if we didn't even trade for Will Anderson?
Mm,
and the draft picks that we
mm,
could.
mm. Man, we could have had a Detroit Lions draft. I mean, we
That
could
was
have had
saying.
Jameer Gibbs. We could have had some players, boy.
And then Jared Verse did next
Yeah.
last
Mhm.
year. We could have got
Yeah.
Jared Verse who replaced your boy, but we know we gonna like I said, we're gonna bury those a couple topics we're gonna bury. So we're gonna bury a couple things in Texas history that always get brought up. We want to turn the page. I know we said last time, turn the page that we expect this Texans team and this organization to be great and have championship wins and have great wins and have great runs, performance. So we have to let go of some of these nagging anchors around our conversation that we always bring up. And I will go what I mean by that is so two things I'm gonna bring up. One, the Kansas City blowout loss, the comeback. We gotta let that go. We gotta bury it. We gotta bury that. It happened. Deshaun is not here. Bill O'Brien's not here.
Mm,
Hopkins not here. JJ Watt's not here. All the players from 2017 or 18 that was, them players no longer here. It is what it is. And I hate to bust our bubble. We were never in the game, even though we was leading the score. But they made so many mistakes. Kansas City made so many mistakes that first, second quarter.
they gave us the game.
They gave us game, and
And
when
all
and when
we
that
needed to do was
was
just hold the line. Just
right, hold the line,
hold the line.
put boots on the ground, but we didn't do that. So we got to bury that one, and I got one more. We got to bury. Please let's blur the Block Osweiler contract. Let's
Mm,
let it go. They made a conversation. They tried it. Let it go. I got a couple more, but I just want to bury that. I don't want to talk about the Kansas City comeback blowout loss ever again. I don't want to talk about
Mhm.
Brock Osweiler again. I want to move forward with the team that we have now and the future that we have with this organization. What you got, Mike?
See, see, for me, I mean, the Osweiler thing, that's so ancient history at this
Mm.
point. Because you had Watson and then obviously got CJ. So that's distant memory, but somehow that Chiefs game isn't. I've probably said this before, but if I was ever caught up in some, terrible legal situation, and they're like, "All
Oh,
right, Michael, I know you didn't do it, but you know who did, so we're gonna torture you by making you rewatch this game." No, I'll do anything. And
mm.
I'll say, I guess it's mostly buried. But when you truly bury something and then you get the shovel and you like double tap it on the
mm.
ground, it's like now it's
Yeah.
done. That's not going to happen until we beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. And the
Mhm.
moment we do that, now it's done.
Well,
Mm.
I get that. I get the Chiefs as an organization, but
Yeah.
let's not bring up
That game.
the
But
game
I mean, you
again.
got to realize it's a history because they did blow us out at home, 31 to nothing.
That's why I said the Chiefs beating us in the playoffs. I can say okay, we have two losses, but let's stop. Let's the Texas fans got to stop. Well, we almost had them. No, you did not almost had them.
We almost had them. No, we almost had them this past season.
Right. That's how we had a better
Mhm.
chance to beat them
Yeah,
last
we
season.
were we were tied going into the fourth quarter.
What
Until the
what
meat killer.
what did Vince
No,
Diesel
that was during the season. I'm talking about the playoffs.
Oh
what did
yeah,
Vince
yeah,
Diesel
that's
tell Brian Collar? You never had your car. You were never in a race. Double clutching. So yeah,
Hey,
go ahead. Go ahead. What else you got, Mike? What you got? We got to bury some.
I got a
yeah.
few
Well,
things.
it
I got a
sucks.
handful.
We can bury it right now, but we're gonna dig it back up in the spring.
Oh, the O
And that
line.
the O line draft misses.
Mm,
Yes.
Whether
Okay.
it was Max Sharping or Xavier
mm.
Suafilo or
What's the
Kenyon
tackle from
Green,
Mississippi State?
Oh, Rankins.
Martinez Rankin,
Martinez Rankin.
Rankins.
Shoot.
yeah,
Davenport.
Mm-hmm.
and Scruggs, yeah.
Mhm.
It's
I
a
mean,
long.
Davenport got us Lemmy Tunsil.
Yeah.
Um,
And he went to go play for Miami. I was a Davenport fan, so it was what it is.
App State guy.
yeah,
Um,
Austin
so yeah,
Deckler.
Oof.
there's a 6 rounder.
That's
Um,
Jude. That was Jude boy.
oh,
Who?
Deculus,
Ch-
was it Deculus? No, Charlie
Charlie
Heck.
Heck.
Charlie Heck,
Charlie
yes.
Heck. Great right tackle. Just had no feet.
But
Son of a coach. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Mike.
But
You
yeah,
got
I
another?
mean that's one that we'll bury and then we'll dig it up in the off season.
look, I'm gonna say this because you mentioned the Chiefs loss, and I gotta bring up this guy as a theme.
Mm,
He was the greatest all-time Texan, almost Texan, great, and Deshaun Watson.
that.
Deshaun Watson.
There we go.
The Texans did not set Deshaun Watson up.
Hmm.
The narrative, any narrative you want to think about when it came to Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans, that gotta be buried. That gotta go ahead and go down.
All right.
We gotta let it die because it just festers in people and it just brings up just raw emotion and hatred
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, Deshaun Watson didn't do anything to anybody that I know. So why should I hate Deshaun Watson?
And
Um,
it's reasonable to have been continuously rooting against him when those
There you
picks were
go.
still.
yeah,
But we're
It's like, all
done
right,
now.
yeah, we want y'all to win no games. Let's give
Yeah.
us the best possible draft capital there. But once that
Deshaun
was settled,
Watson. Look, let me say this: that trade should go down as probably one of the most lopsided trades in NFL history.
The greatest trade of all time.
The greatest trade because
If we win.
regardless if we win or don't, he did absolutely nothing for Cleveland and basically has destroyed them into a full rebuild after 3 years when they were supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team. You sit up here and you just paid Myles Garrett again. And now you sitting up here and you don't have a quarterback. You sitting up here talking about you're gonna start Kenny Pickett. You don't know if you want Shedeur Sanders. You drafted Dylan Gabriel ahead of Shedeur, who's a quarterback that most people in Cleveland,
Joe
most
Flacco.
people around the NFL say he shouldn't even been drafted. And you drafted him in the third round. Like, how
yeah.
horrible of a franchise are you? That Deshaun Watson contract set Cleveland back 10 years.
It did.
But
They
For
only
a historically cursed franchise to finally almost make it out of the curse, and then they get back in it and dig 10 more layers. Sorry,
Man,
what were you gonna say, Jules?
no only reason the Cowboys trade for Herschel Walker is a greater trade because they got 3 Super Bowls out of it.
mhm.
Now, if we get a Super Bowl out the situation, then we can say
All you need
he's
is one player that was drafted with one of those picks. Not Derek Stingley, Will Anderson. If we win a Super Bowl with Will Anderson, then
that's it.
that's it. That
Yep.
writes the
We
book.
we all we on the same part. Have the greatest trade
Yeah.
of all time.
So the second thing, the Watson trade was great for Houston massage therapists.
Nah, because
No,
they were broke after that.
yeah, they broke. That was worse. That was
That's
that
like
was
that's like
horrible.
that's like James Harden leaving Houston. Them strippers hurt now.
Look, that's
Go
like
ahead,
R.
AD.
Kelly leaving Africa.
Oh, I
Pause.
got another one to bury.
Go ahead, Mike. What you got to bury?
The Will Anderson trade.
Mm.
Gonna have to
I
bury
ain't
I
one.
ain't ready for that one yet, buddy. I ain't ready for that one
ready
yet.
yet.
I
I ain't
got.
ready for that.
Hey, I gotta see a
Look,
Pro Bowl. I gotta see an All
Chris,
Pro.
Chris almost came down from heaven. Look, they just want to say they buried me, but they ain't burying this.
I gotta see an All Pro, and I gotta see an All Pro in the Super Bowl win for me to bury that one.
Let me
But I
say,
got you though. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
look, I'm gonna go old school,
Uh-oh.
original Texan fans. Tony Baselli.
Okay, I got that one.
See, Tony Baselli has been in the grave, but he ain't had no dirt dropped on him.
Mhm.
You still have those original Texan fans talking about how Tony Baselli set the Texans back
Yeah,
before they even got started.
correct.
Then we want to talk about I have to bury this one. I have to bury Matt Khalil.
The same
I-
situation.
Same situation. Matt
Wow.
Khalil is the reason why we even got into the Laramie Tunsil conundrum
Correct.
in the first place.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. But
So
I'll take a step further with the whole tight end Antonio Bozelli. I have to bury the situation that the NFL changed the rule,
that one, yep.
on expansion draft the
Mm-hmm.
year the Texans got theirs because I believe Jacksonville and Carolina were the last two teams, and the way they pick players
Yeah.
off teams' rosters set them up to have instant.
Jules,
Um,
they also got first round picks for like 2 or 3 years. They got two first round picks, 2 or 3 years in a
hmm
row.
hmm
So they were able to cherry pick. They number one, number two picks. Then they had another additional pick.
hmm
So you telling me they got two first round picks for multiple years, and they got the cherry pick off of every NFL roster in the league.
Right. We
And
had
that's why Carolina made an NFC championship
and
rather quickly, and
Jacksonville
Jacksonville
made it
made an AFC championship
within
rather
2 3 years.
quickly because they were able to freaking do this instantaneously. And just imagine if Houston at the time had two first round picks
hmm
in that David Carr draft.
Right. David Carr might not have been drafted.
David Carr may not have been drafted.
As a
You may have
quarterback,
went with
Julius Peppers.
Julius
Peppers.
You
Mm.
may have taken Julius Peppers at the first one and backdoored and got Joey Harrington as your quarterback. And I honestly think Joey Harrington probably would have played better in Houston than David Carr.
Yeah.
Joey Harrington, let's be real. If you want to
Tell a
go
kid in kindergarten.
take back the hands of time, Joey Harrington at Oregon was a better quarterback than David Carr at Fresno State. Period.
Well, here's my next burial. I'm a bury Jack Easterby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
It's almost.
I'm going.
Look, he almost got resurrected recently
right.
when they
I'm
were
a
talking
bury
about
the.
it. We did the interview.
Hold on. I'm gonna bury this 3 or 4 year window of Jack Easterby. So that includes having Bill O'Brien fired, having David Culley hired, and the whole situation of that. So I'm a bury. I'm never gonna mention Jack Easterby being a hindrance to this franchise going forward. I'm burying Jack Easterby.
If you're gonna bury Jack Easterby, you need to bury Bill O'Brien.
Damn
Well,
it! You
here's
stole it.
that was my next one. I'm about that's because I am the most I hate Bill O'Brien the most out of anybody else.
Really?
Mm.
I
We got a close competition because he ruined not one but two of my teams.
true. So yeah. So I okay. I'm very Bill O'Brien too. I'm gone. He's gone. I'll never mention him again.
What you say?
Whew.
What you say, Jules?
I'm a bury him. I'm never gonna mention Bill O'Brien again.
You said
He gone.
Be gone. He's stupid.
um,
We got any more left? Anybody else want to bury anything else?
look, what if Nick Casario had an expansion draft? Oh Jesus.
Oof.
Oh man. Hey, I don't know, man. That'll be a sight to see. How many trades would he have in an expansion draft where you just the only person drafting? How many trades can you make? How can you trade with yourself in an expansion draft?
There's
You
one
know
more
he
thing
watched that 7-team trade in the NBA. Like, damn, you
I
can
can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Birdman hand rub.
There's one more thing I
Hold
want.
my beer.
There's one more thing I want every Houston Texans fan to bury the Brock Osweiler contract.
We said that.
We did.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
thought
I got one though.
Go ahead.
The long standing era of Eric Murray. Of every
Yes.
year, how is he still on this roster?
Okay, that's a good one.
Eric Murray.
He gone.
He gone.
But yeah, man. Again, we're going ahead and end it here, man. We 2
Tunsil.
minutes over. Tunsil.
False starts. Buried. It's over. It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone, man. But again, it's been a great episode. It's been a fun episode. It's been something that's
Ooh,
needed. What happened, Mike? What you had?
I got
Well,
one
I
more.
was gonna say, the folks watching, we appreciate all of y'all. Y'all can help us bury this episode by sharing, and subscribing to the H Town Rundown.
There you go. One more for the road.
I got one more for Mo. The Matt Shaw, Brian, Albert Hainsworth, we could win the Super Bowl conversation. We gotta go. Let it go.
I ain't gonna let it go because that's
As I mean, it doesn't help us. 2014, 16, whatever it was. It's over. That is what it is. We gotta bury that. We gotta bury the hate on Albert Hainsworth. Rest in peace. I think
yeah. He's gone. He's gone up.
he's gone. So don't play that. Do not play that button. Don't do it. Go ahead. Let's end the show for 80 go next go to hell.
I mean, if that
There
was
you
Chris, I say
go.
Chris, say, it's been a year. Shout out his year anniversary for Chris, man. So again, before we move on, I do want to recognize Chris Royal, one of the founders of the H Town help, co-found the H Town Rundown.
Yep.
Again, very, very important, near and dear to our hearts, and we want to shout out to him, his family, and I do want to say this. I don't think we said it on the podcast. Chris lost his son shortly after.
Yep.
Quan.
So yeah, Quan, his son passed away as well. So, everybody knows about, was it Chance, little Chance? That was his father that passed away. So now you have Chance without a father and a grandfather. So prayers up continually for the royal family. And I will say that they did have Quan did have a daughter that was just recently born. So that never got to meet her dad. So prayers again to the family. And again, shout out Chris Raw. And we are forever raw. So again, not to be on the side, no, go ahead.
And prayers for everybody up in Hill
Central
Country.
Texas. Yeah,
Yeah, Central
Central
Hill
Texas.
Country. All right.
That experienced the flooding. That Texas said, you know what, we just not gonna flood you in the southeast area. We gonna flood you all over. We gonna go mid. We gonna go middle
Right.
Texas.
For all the parents and people who kids, that's the most haunting thing that to go through.
Mhm.
To have your child sent to a summer camp for they supposed to have love, happiness, and enjoyment for the summer, and to get to notice that your daughter and your child is not coming home because a natural disaster. That is a horrifying phone call
Mhm.
that you have to receive.
Most definitely. So prayers up to all those. I think the death total right now is 109,
Right.
with 161 still missing.
Hmm.
So prayers up to all those who were affected by the flooding and the storm, and the parents and neighbors and you know children, everybody who's affected by this. Prayers up to you and your families. You know, and we can get through it eventually.
Yeah. One thing to note, I go camping. I know they always says keep your cell phones on. Always have a radio.
Hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
always have a regular radio with batteries. You're 100% can get any national disaster or any public announcement with a radio. You may not ever get cell phone service, but you can get it with a radio. You can get sound waves and whatever airways with a radio, and always have it when you go into camping or any situation. Always
Hmm.
have a radio.
Always. So
Mm-hmm.
again, on that somber note, this has been another great episode of the H Time Rundown. And we will see y'all next week as we start off with the talk of the training camp. Training camp is 2 weeks away from today. If I'm not mistaken, it starts July 22nd, so 2 weeks from today, we will have the first day of training camp. And we'll be right here live talking about the first day of training camp. But we will also start our pre-training camp talk next week, so y'all be sure to join us next week.
About the O-line.
And we're gonna talk about the damn O-line for another day, another week. So y'all just
The starting five O-line.
oh, man. So y'all just go right on in and we'll be talking about it again. But
Nick
thanks,
Andrews.
yeah, look, God, I broke down this weekend trying not to imagine the pain of these families. God bless everyone in your families. Be grateful for the loved ones we have. Absolutely Texas Tangent. And on that note, we will see y'all when we see y'all. Peace.
Peace.